All right, it's recording. All right, hi guys. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Heather Sherry, and I'm really excited because Nicole, when she said that the next few meetings she wanted it to be about personal development, there's been a book that my husband and I have been following, and it really has resonated with us, and I'm hoping that you guys will feel the same way. I'm just going to give you a quick background. My husband and I, we've been together for about 16 years now. We've been married for 10. We have 2 kids. My daughter's 19. Our son is 5. And as long as I've known Tim, he's really been into personal development. He's always read personal development books. And he's been trying to get me to get into them for a long time, but I never really, for some reason, could never get into them before. But ever since I started doing Beachbody, I realized how important it is to be into personal development. And some of the books that I've read, I really liked them, but I just, for some reason, couldn't get it. But since reading this particular book that we're going to talk about tonight, it really has kind of hit home for me. And I've noticed big changes in my business. And I think my big thing, like everybody else, is self-doubt and not, believing and wondering if you're doing the right thing. And ever since I started reading this book, it really, it hit home for me. So I'm going to now pass the call on to Tim, and he can talk to you a little bit more about it. The book is called Law of Attraction by Abraham Hicks. And Tim has actually he's been my biggest supporter since I started doing this whole crazy Beachbody business. I've been doing it now for about 8 months, and he was the first person I signed up as my coach. He didn't even know I was signing him up. I just signed him up. And then I started having him drink the shakes because he would go to Dunkin' Donuts every single morning. He'd have a large coffee and put extra cream and like 7 sugars in it. And as a hygienist, that was like a big no-no. I did not want him to do that. And he's not a big vegetable and fruit eater. So I knew that he would get nutrition out of it too. But he once said to me that he would not drink coffee unless it tastes like chocolate milk. That's why he put so much cream and sugar in it. But he really needed that energy to get himself going every morning. So I said to him, why don't I get you to drink one of my shakes? I can make it taste like a milkshake. And so that's kind of how I got him started and hooked on the shakes. So he's a big believer in that. So he's not really into promoting he's not really looking to be a Beachbody coach, but it's very easy for him to talk to other people about the Shakeology because he believes in the product. He actually helps me get customers each month. And he has signed up 3 coaches under him, and 2 of them are now active, even though he's not really into doing it, but he's, definitely supporting me and helping me with my business. But when we got the opportunity to talk about this particular book, I knew that he'd be perfect at it because he knows a lot about personal development, and he's definitely a lot better than me with public speaking. So I'm going to now pass it on to you, Tim.
Well, you did fine, Heather, obviously. I'm the mystery guy who always has the screen covered up with a sticky note when we jump on the call sometimes. I guess I'll give you a little bit of background on me. Back in the early 1990s, I started getting interested in personal development through an employer of mine, but he took me to to a couple of Tom Hopkins seminars. And I don't know if anybody's aware of or familiar with Tom Hopkins. He's a big sales guy. And although the material sounded like it made sense, it always seemed like a ton of work, and I didn't get it. So later on in the 90s, like 92, 93, I got involved in network marketing. So I actually know the business. I know direct sales. I read a ton of books on that when I first got involved. And I never really did anything with direct sales or network marketing because I was missing a key component. And I think this book is kind of the underlying thing that I was missing. I read everything about personal development from Jim Rohn and a whole slew of others. I mean, I read them all, and they made sense. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I read that book like 15 times, and it sounded great, but I never really felt like it was applicable for me. I don't know why. So my network marketing career kind of just petered out. But the biggest thing that it gave me was the ability to speak in public, and the big picture of personal development. So I knew I was onto something, but again, I still kept with it over the years and went back and reread some of the books that I had gotten, but never really kind of attached myself or latched onto it. And I didn't really know why. But anyway, so now I've got this book, the Abraham Hicks series. There's a bunch of books. There's 4 major parts. The original 4 books are kind of combined. And what I saw in this book was the underlying theme that I had been looking for all this time. Like all the things that I saw almost as the basis of religion and the basis of self-help, self-guidance. I just saw facets of this book and everything that I had learned before. So it kind of brought everything together for me, and it's so simple, and I never even knew it. So all these years I've been glossing over it, and now I've got a hold of it, and I can't get enough. I mean, I'm YouTubing all the videos. Heather and I are going to see Esther Hicks in Boston in May, and it's pretty incredible once you get the idea of it and you can actually implement it in your own life. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit. There's a ton of information. It was so hard for me to kind of consolidate everything to something understandable for you guys, because it's a bit philosophical. But if anybody has any problems or anything, they can certainly speak up or ask questions. I'll stop every few minutes and ask if anybody has anything to add or a question to ask, because I feel like I can iterate more of the mechanics of it by people asking questions. But anyway, I'll give you what I got. So basic tenet is that the entire world and universe is made up of energy. I mean, I don't think anybody can really say it isn't. It's been proven. But that energy itself is basically been depicted as vibration. So energy and vibration are the same thing. So I'll use vibration throughout this talk. So I'll give you some examples like rocks, dirt, air, water, trees, metal, anything you can possibly think of is vibrational. Our senses are vibrational. Hearing is probably the easiest to understand, because when you hear, when your ears receive sound, it's received as a vibration and your ears translate it. So everybody hears things a little bit differently based on the vibrational translation they have. So one emotion that is kind of left out is the emotion of, the sixth sense, that's emotion, the things that you feel within yourself. That's the one thing that I don't think people talk enough about. So think of it like having a TV in your house, and you don't have a bunch of little people in your screen performing some skit. It's broadcast from some different place or tape recorded, and it's sent via energy or vibration over the wires and into the TV, and then it's brought up into the screen for you to view. So it's a bit like that. So the emotion falls into that principle where you can actually feel something, and the things that you're feeling is vibration within you. So that is really the bulk of what this book is about. It's about feeling your emotions and understanding them and using that to get what you want, basically. So thoughts are also vibration, and they vary on a scale of how tuned in you are to the vibration or to the thought. Everything that's ever been in existence is started as a thought. I mean, anything that you've seen built today was a thought. Somebody had to think that first before we could actually drive a car or use a computer or turn on a light or have a house. I mean, all those things were ideas. They were thoughts, and they were manifested at some point and developed along the way. So you can't deny its existence. So basically, you have a vibration, and that vibration gives you a thought. You get a thought out of that vibration, and then that thought turns into thought form. So now you're thinking about that thought, you're aware of the thought, and that thought starts to bring more thoughts like it into your experience. So once you have that, and you're creating these thoughts, and they're kind of bringing in more thoughts similar to the thought that you've got and you're focusing on, now you're vibrating in a particular way, and you start spinning this or generating this momentum. And that momentum is basically carrying you into the actual manifestation of the thought. So it could be, trying to think of an example. Well, anyway, so you start with thought, and you bring more thoughts like it together, and then you create a momentum to get to the actual manifestation of the thought. So this happens to you all day, every day. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts that you think all day have a certain vibration. And everything, all those vibrations, all those thoughts get collected in what's called like a vibrational escrow. And you could call it a vortex. I mean, that gets a little bit more involved, but we'll call it a vibrational escrow. And all those thoughts that you've had basically spin around in that vibration. And once they're in there, they start attracting, through the law of attraction, all the things, all the pieces to the puzzles that make that thought a reality. So when you think it, it goes to your vortex or your vibrational escrow, and it starts whirling around in there, and it actually attracts all of the things necessary for it to become reality. So it becomes, in fact, reality in that vortex. So everything you've thought of in your entire life is spinning around there, and basically its vibration, it has already done everything it needs to do. It is whatever it is that you want in reality. It already is that, and it has a particular vibration. Usually that vibration is higher than the vibration you're at currently, otherwise you'd be experiencing it right now. So all those thoughts that are spinning around there are basically a feeling. They're waiting for a feeling in you to be a vibrational match to that vibration that you've created. So if they're spinning around in there and you're not at that same vibration, you need to raise your vibration to equal that thought vibration, and then all of a sudden it manifests. Basically, you can say things all day long like, I want this, I don't want that, I want these things, I don't want those things, I like this, I don't like that. All of those ideas go into this vibrational escrow and create its own vibration. Your emotions come into play, because your emotion is the actual guidance system to tell you whether or not you're on track to getting the manifestation of that particular thought. So you're sending out all of these, the book calls them rockets of desire, things that you want, things that you desire. Your guidance system, your emotions, tell you how far apart you are from the actual manifestation of that thought. So if you're not feeling well, if you're feeling down or sad or unhappy, you're at a much different vibration than the thought that you've put in your vibrational escrow, because that vibrational escrow wants nothing more than to have you match it vibrationally. It's excited, it's thrilled, it's the best possible feeling that you can have. So if you're down here with bad thoughts, you're not vibrationally a match to the thoughts that you want in your escrow, unless they're thoughts that equal that thought. So you can have bad thoughts in your escrow. You're at that same emotional state. You're not feeling well. You're going to start attracting some of those things that you've already put in escrow, good or bad. So I guess it means that you're kind of getting what you think about, but more importantly, or fine-tuning that, you get what you feel. So for each thought you have a feeling emotionally about that thought at that moment. And that tells you whether you're moving closer or further away from that thought or from what you want. So you could say, I want to be 10-star diamond. And immediately stop and think about how that feels to you. So for some, it might be, I'm on it. I'm right on top. It feels great. It makes me excited. And that would be a higher vibrational level than thinking, oh my God, that's such a huge jump. I'm only an emerald right now. How am I possibly going to get to diamond? You can feel the difference vibrationally. You're kind of already taking yourself out of the game by thinking those negative thoughts. You might say, but I said what I wanted. Well, I want 10-star diamond, but then you start throwing butts at it. But I'm only an emerald now, and it seems like it's going to take so long to get there. I don't have enough people. I'm not exposed to anybody during the day. My job keeps me away from doing things like that because I should be spending more time on building my Beachbody business. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And at the same time, now I'm feeling like, well, 10-star diamond sounds great, but I need the money now because I'm really ready to start having some cash show up in my account. So you're already taking yourself down the wrong path by saying what you want, but feeling a completely opposite thought. So naturally, through the law of attraction, you're going to get what you feel. So if you're feeling down in the dumps about this, you're going to get down in the dumps out of your vortex. That's what you're going to attract. That's the whole premise. Let me give you some more examples. It might be, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 20 pounds. You can say, I want to lose 20 pounds, but I can't seem to find the time to exercise, or I don't have enough money to buy Shakeology, or those things are going to start throwing a monkey wrench into the works because it's going to take energy out of your desire. You're going to lose any momentum that you might have built by saying, I want this. I mean, it goes for, it's unlimited what you could ask for. But if you're feeling bad, emotion is telling you that you're not heading towards the thing that you want. You're actually walking away from it. So that leads to the fact that every subject is actually two subjects: what's wanted and the lack of what's wanted. So you ask for something, but more times than not, people are thinking the lack of what they want versus paying more attention to what they want and emphasizing that and working in that direction. So you could say, I don't want illness. I don't want to be sick. Well, that's focusing on the lack. That's focusing on the lack of health. You could say, I don't have enough money. Well, you're focusing on the lack of money. You're not focusing on having more money. So what's the difference? Why don't you say something like, I'm feeling so healthy right now. I feel like I'm at the healthiest point I've ever been. And I like the idea of exercising, and I can't wait to start on Monday. And not only that, I'm going to start exercising, and I'm going to change my diet a little bit. And I've got this new Shakeology product that I'm going to try that I've heard is really doing wonders for people that have contacted me about it. And I can't wait to see what comes of that, and the energy that I get, and how much fun it's going to be to do all those things, and meeting all these new people that are involved, and getting out there, and I might even be able to go buy new clothes if that happens. You see the difference in feeling? You're actually taking yourself towards the fact that you want health versus throwing yourself into all these reasons why you don't have good health. And that simple differentiation makes all the difference in the world. So one thing I've noticed that when I think about all the personal development stuff I've done over the years and read and everything, I almost feel like I can just throw all that stuff away because it's too much work. It seems so hard to remember all those things and all those ways of selling and all those things that you need to do, and when all you need to really do is pay attention to your emotion. And when you're talking about things that you want, focus on those things in the direction of what you want instead of the opposite direction. If you can do that and pay attention to what you're feeling at the time that you're thinking those things, you're on your way. Your attention to the thing that you want or the thing that you don't want is that equals desire. That emotion ties everything together and just lets you know where you're at on that scale. You're trying to get from point A to point B. You're focusing on point B. Your emotions are telling you whether you've left point A and you're on your way to point B, or if you're going backwards from A and going the opposite direction. So you want to try and focus on the positive aspects of the desire. And let's say you're not feeling that good. Something happened, like me this afternoon is a perfect example. I opened mail before this talk, which I shouldn't have done because it was the health insurance renewal for my family for this year. And it went up another 15% this year. And I was like, son of a gun. Well, I've already started off on the wrong foot in the wrong direction. I'm already thinking about, oh, am I going to be able to come up with the money every month? Am I going to be able to, why do they have to do this? I'd rather just not have insurance at all. Why is, this compounding every year? This is 25% in 2 years. And I'm already taking myself out of the game by focusing on just a statement that I've read instead of saying, this is going to be easy. No problem. I've got it covered. I've got plenty of work. It's only a couple $100. It's not going to mean a hill of beans difference. I'm headed in the right direction, focused, and that changes the game. That my emotion was down in the dumps, but had I started talking in that fashion to myself, I think the outcome would have been a little bit different. There's a phrase, fake it till you make it. Well, it was an old adage that people could think and it will become, or fake it, or do the action and you will have the result, or something like that. And I think the difference is that you actually need to feel instead of act, because the action has no power. The emotion and what you're thinking about the emotion is where the power is. The act doesn't matter. That's why it makes it so effortless. You don't have to act because you're expending energy. You need to feel it in your gut, and that actually gets you out ahead of the thought. When you stop and think about how you're feeling about the thought that you've just had, that gets you out in front of the desire and gets that law of attraction, that momentum, working in the direction that you want it to go. A lot of people say, well, why don't you just give me what I want and I'll believe it then. But that's backwards. You have to believe it first. You have to feel it first in your gut, and then it will happen for you. So that's why faking it till you make it doesn't really work. If you want to fake it, then focus on the feeling. Get yourself into a position where you're working yourself up about something, and your feeling becomes spot on. You want it. It's there. You're talking about all the positive things. You see it in your mind's eye. You're experiencing it. Ask yourself why. Why do you want these things? What are the good reasons why you want what you want? And that'll start, you'll feel that vibration well up in you. That's the blasting off point. That's what you need to keep focusing on all day, every day. So I guess the definition of law of attraction at this point is the essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. So the things that like attracts like. So you have these thoughts become vibrations. They already manifest in the vibrational escrow, in the vortex. And the law of attraction brings all those pieces to the puzzle to bring that thought into reality, into manifestation. So the essence of that which is like unto itself is drawn. It means it's the law of attraction is the manager of all things. It puts all the things, it has the power of the universe behind it. It puts all those things in motion for you to be the receiver of it, if you can get your vibration to match the vibration in the escrow. Because it's already there. It's already done it. It pulled all the things together throughout the universe to make everything happen for you to get that. All you have to do is raise your vibration to get it. And I'm telling you, it works. You can see it in little things. They call it filling in the grid. It's like having a thought of, I want $1 million. And you're so on fire with that thought, and all of a sudden, the vibration will show you that you're on the right track, because you'll start getting little things that'll kind of like mentally smack you in the face. Somebody will start talking about it. Somebody will say, if I only had $1 million. And then you'll say, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then you'll be talking to someone else, or a few days will go by, and then all of a sudden something will pop up and say, this person just won $1 million. And then something else a few days later will say, I just got a raise, and my bonus this year was $1 million. All of a sudden, these little things start to show up in your face, and it stops you in your tracks. And you're like, I've been feeling good. My emotion is right there. I'm excited. I'm happy. I feel the best I've ever felt. All these little pieces of the puzzle start showing up in your reality. That's what you're looking for. Those things are the things that you're looking for. It could be a number of people that you want in your group by the end of the month. Whatever it is, if you're on target, you're paying attention to your emotions, and you're working to get your emotion to the highest point you could possibly get, that's the work you need to be doing. I mean, all the other things, of course, will help, but you're doing it from an empowered point. You're not doing it from a lack point. When you make decisions about your business, when you're feeling lack, those decisions are probably going to bring you lack. But when you're feeling on target, on point emotionally, and you're making decisions from that point, you're in the vortex, you're going to start bringing those things into your reality. That's the crux of this book. What else have I got? So I guess the three things that you want to do is you want to identify what it is that you want. You want to ask for what it is that you want. The second thing, Source will deliver the vibrational version of what is wanted in the vortex, in your vibrational escrow. It delivers it. It pulls all the pieces of the puzzle together for you. All you need to do is raise your vibration. That's it. And then the third thing is allowing it to happen. Allowance is probably the hardest part for most people. I know it is for me, because you almost need to unplug yourself, in a sense, from what is wanted. In that, I mean, you need to have the belief that it's yours and you're just waiting for it. You have to expect it. It's a knowing. You have to just know full on. There's no questions about it that it's yours to have, and you're just waiting to see it. Most things that take people backwards in that position are things like keeping score. And I'll use money because it's kind of easy to understand. when you're keeping score, you say something like, I want $10,000 in volume in my business by the end of the month. You've made the desire, you asked for it. Source energy takes that desire, starts rolling it around, brings all the things in the universe that needs to make that $10,000 at the end of the month in business happen for you, and does it immediately. It's there, vibrating at a different level. What happens is 3 days go by and people say, geez, I needed to have 2 people signed up by today in order to meet my goal, and it didn't happen. Well, you've already taken yourself down the other direction to what is not wanted, the lack of what is wanted. You're already coming from a position of lack. When you start keeping score and thinking, well, why isn't it shown up yet? I've done all the work. I feel good. It's just not there. It's not happening. I need to have certain things. You're already going in the wrong direction. You have to stop yourself at that point and refocus on the desire. I need $10,000 in business this month, and I can see it. The people are calling me every day. They're emailing me for information. I'm getting excited about it. I can see it happening. All my upline is going to be doing all of these posts about how well I'm doing and how much my business has grown this month. And you need to take yourself in that direction. You need to ask why. Why do I need $10,000 a month? Well, I need it because I want my business to grow. Okay, well, why do you want your business to grow? I want my business to grow because it's exciting for me to be able to help so many more people. Or, well, why is that exciting? Because if they're excited about this business and feeling better, then I'm excited about feeling. And then if I'm excited about feeling better, my family's excited about feeling better. You start chasing those whys. And I've heard you guys talk about it before. You got to know your why. Well, you do need to know it, but you need to attack it. You need to ask all those questions. Why? Why do I need this thing? Why do I want it? Actually, let me take that back. Don't talk from a position of need. Just say the things that you want and why you want them and all the great things around that that's going to do for you and become for you. I had an example of holding a cork underwater, which the book uses. And basically it's saying you have a cork. The cork is the thought or the want, the desire. And when you hold it underwater, it naturally wants to float to the surface if you let go. Meaning if you take yourself out of the equation before you touch the cork, it naturally wants to float to the surface. Well, the cork is your thought. The surface floating around is the highest vibration of where that thought is manifested. And you're down here holding the cork underwater because you're focusing on the lack of it. And really, that's what people are doing. They're focusing so much on what they don't have, why they don't have it, and that's keeping the vibrations separate, and it's taking you out of the game. The book goes on through a bunch of a few other subjects. They talk about general well-being and applying it to money, applying it to physical health, and applying it to relationships. So I've kind of given you an overview of the philosophy or the theory behind it, but it's so much more, I don't want to say deep, because it's very, very easy to understand. And I mean, for me, I got to have stuff written to me in comic book format so I can understand it. I'm not a real technical guy. So I need it to be really simple, and that's what this book did for me. It just boiled out all of the fat, so to speak, so that I can understand what my work was. My work was to take charge of my emotions, raise my vibration, and really just pay attention to who I am and what I'm doing. All this boils down to you taking a charge of your life and creating your life and your future rather than just being an innocent bystander, because you're not an innocent bystander. You're creating a crappy life if you're living it, because law of attraction, it's an irrefutable law. It gives you what you think about. It gives you what you're feeling. So if you're feeling crappy and you think your life's crappy, well, Law of attraction's working for you because it's giving you what you're asking for. That's your predominant thought. That's your predominant emotion, and those are your predominant vibrations. So I kind of thrown a lot out there. I know it's a little bit, it might be a little bit difficult to understand, not having a lot of the background of where this all came from, but I don't know if you guys got any questions or want to add any input. I'm pretty much at the end of my notes. I don't know where we are on time, but I guess I'll, Heather, if you want to unmute everybody, they can ask questions if they want. I feel like I can answer stuff better that way. If not, then I'll leave it up to suggestion.
Anyone have any questions? I don't have any questions, but I just want to say thank you, Tim. That was so beneficial and really just, like you said, it simplifies it, which I think is so helpful at any level anyone is personally in the business or anything. It's just a great way to focus on the positives. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
I didn't do it much justice, but if you read the book, I think it'll be really, really helpful for you in your business and in everyday life. I mean, it's about being happy, and you're not going to be happy if you're focused on unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show what the book looks like?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you might have to talk so that we can see it.
It's Money and the Law of Attraction, and Learning to Attract Wealth, Health, and Happiness. And that's the 4 tenets of their series right here. And then there's a bunch of other books that they kind of fine-tune things that I really recommend too. And I like I said, I've YouTubed the heck out of them, and it's inspiring. It really is. I can't wait to see it live.
Do you mind if I ask where it is live?
It's in Woburn.
Woburn?
Yep.
It's actually at the
May
same
21st,
place.
and there's a second date, May 21 and 22. It's Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah,
I know.
it's actually at the exact same place that the Super Friday's at. The same.
Oh,
hotel.
really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, exact same hotel.
Funny.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So that'll be fun. I'm very much looking forward to that that event. Both of them. I think. Is everyone going to that Super Friday?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to figure
I'm
out.
actually going to try to plan something. I was going to post something probably this week to see anyone that's around if you guys would want to get together before.
Yeah.
Something to eat or a drink or something so we can all go together.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So we'll
Definitely.
figure that out. But if you guys wouldn't mind too, Heather, maybe if you guys could post something in the team page about that event for anyone that might want to check it out
Okay.
for the Law of Attraction one, because I think that would be really cool for people to see live if they can.
Okay. Yep, I can do that. Definitely.
Awesome.
It's well worth it. And I would as a precursor check out the books or some of the YouTube videos or their website. Their website's really informative too.
I'm doing that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Tim. Definitely
Right.
explains a lot for me. Now I understand.
Oh, you understand with your negative thoughts?
Right. And this negativity.
Yeah, Tim, anytime you want to come to my classroom and school these teenagers, that
Yeah.
would be great.
I-
All
I
they do
wish-
is think negatively no matter what.
I wish kids had a more exposure to it, honestly, because I think it would explain a lot.
It's brutal. I
Heather
think,
wants to know-
there's always a silver lining, and they're like, Miss, there's no.
Tim, Heather wants to know if you meditate.
I do. I just started. I've been about a month now.
Yeah, and Tim asked me, I think a month ago, he's like, do you want to take a meditation class? I'm like, yeah, no desire, but that was
a long time ago. That was transcendental meditation. This is just regular.
Oh, well, ever since I started reading this book, now I'm like, oh, I get it. It makes sense. And I do actually meditate a little bit now too.
I find it hard because I have a tough time shutting off my mind.
Yeah, it's definitely harder than
I actually got a meditation MP3 off the Abraham Hicks website. It was $15 and it was well worth it. And it's only 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Should be able to spare that, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
We're rich, right?
All right. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Are we done?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the time and everything you put into it. So,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.